Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. And today I'm coming at you guys with an update for Invoked. Boy, oh boy, it's been a long time coming for an update for Invoked on the channel. We've done a wide variety of content. I'm glad that I'm able to cover so much. There's still a lot more to do. There's a lot more work I need to do. There's a lot that needs to get covered as well. So many decks that haven't been explored yet, and so much that hasn't been exploited with the decks that I currently am playing. So this variant is a going second variant of Invoked. It's something that I worked really hard to get it to be competitive, to be, I guess, considered competitive. The cards that I'm playing, I basically incorporated some compact engines to elevate the ceiling of the deck to enable it to keep up with the top dogs, because Invoked as a deck by itself is really strong. It is, and I would never take any credit away from it, but I just don't think that it's good enough by itself, and I'm just being realistic here. You know, I'm all for playing your favorite deck in its purest form. Like, trust me, like, I know what it's like, but sometimes you just gotta make changes where changes are needed, and this is basically Invoked, Sky Striker, MEKK, Kaijus. Also playing a couple other going second packages just to help us, like the Strudel Mirror and like Pankratops. It's a really strong, I find it's a really strong going second deck. It's really good at doing what it's supposed to do, which typically going second decks are. Their intention is to break a board in OTK, and this deck does that very consistently. I like it a lot. Invoke just really needs some love, you guys. Let's hop into my list. And don't forget, man. Don't forget. Hey, when Dinlong got banned and I stopped playing True King Yang Zines for a while, I was doing Invoked everything, bro. So I know this deck is pretty good, man. I got some respect for it. I like it a lot. It's definitely one of my favorites. So we're going to start off with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley, what you got in your head? I'm being lame. Anyways, 3 Mr. Crowleys. Honestly, when you're playing Invoked, he is the deck. He still is the deck. He makes the deck. Isn't it crazy? We're just... A deck is based on one monster and that's it? Held up perfection. Held up perfection. Yeah, Mr. Crowley's insane. Not once per turn, by the way. I was experimenting with the Symphonic Warrior engine, just getting double summons for Alistairs, just getting a lot more DPS. I'm sorry, not DPS. I'm talking video game terms. Getting a lot more damage pushes that way, because just resolving double Alistair is insane. Also, it's a turbo card. I play this deck very similar to how I play Electrum in Pendulum decks, or how you play Pendulum decks, or how you play Orcus. Essentially, you're trying to get 2 particular kind of monsters on the field, turboing that out so that you can make this guy, because this bad boy makes every hand without an Alistair playable if you're just able to fusion summon, like with instant fusion and etc. He's really good, and he's Alistair on field, so yeah. It's really like, this is like your Electrum, essentially. You're just trying to turbo them out. So any other engines that can get different type and different attributes out is really necessary. Next up for the MEKK Knights, personally for me, I think that these are 3 of that should never change in any MEKK Knight Invoked variant. And I think everybody watching could very much so agree. I mean, understanding that MEKK Knights can only be special once per turn, and understanding that these effects are hard once per turn, still, with that in mind, they're necessary to play at 3. 1 Indigo Eclipse and 1 Yellow Star. I cut Red Moon, not because it's bad, but I felt that as far as clearing monsters, I felt that my deck had a lot going for it already in that, I guess you could say, on that side. I really wanted to focus more on getting rid of the back row, because I know 2 of the 3 best decks of the format are actually very back row dominant, and they are very prevalent decks, and my matchup with them could go any way. Like, it can go in my favor or theirs. It depends how I open, and it depends how they open. But with that in mind, Yellow Star is more important than Red Moon. I think that 8 MEKK Knights is a decent amount, but I really don't like my hands without MEKK Knights. Like, hands that I don't draw MEKK Knights is really sad. So I am still considering upping the count, maybe just putting Red Moon in anyways. But yeah, that's it for the MEKK Knights. Purple Nightfall is just a great card, you guys, and nobody plays around MEKK Knights anymore, so you really still can plus off Blue Sky without working for it. And when I say working for it, you don't always have to, like, set cards in columns, like, set your spells. Like, we have to do that sometimes as, like, MEKK Knight players. Just, like, set cards to force the column to work for you. But a lot of people don't play around MEKK Knights anymore, and I see it a lot where people are just playing cards in the same column. That way, it's way easier for you. So that way you can set cards in other columns and then summon other MEKK Knights there. Next up, 3 copies of Pankratops. This guy is just, he's famous, bro. He's making a name for himself. And then I personally played 3 Jizukirus. I wanted to play only the big Kaijus, but I didn't want to play the Thunder one, because if for some reason I just had this crazy mindset, like, where I'm like, okay, what's worse? giving Cyber Dragons away to make Mega Fleet or giving Thunder Dragons away to make Colossus. I said, no, screw that. I don't mind Mega Fleet. I really don't, but I hate Colossus. My deck needs to search, so I said Machine Kaiju over the Thunder one. It's just for that what-if scenario. Even if it never happens, I just want to be prepared for stuff. So 3 of the Machine-type Kaiju. Jizakuru, the Star Destroyer. Next up, 3 copies of Destrudo and MEKK, baby. I think this is one of the best going second packages in the game. Honestly, any deck can become, I would say, relevant or have a higher ceiling and a better potential and chance at winning just by incorporating Destrudo and MEKK into their deck. Especially if it's a going second deck, because I think that package is really high ceiling. It breaks some of the best boards that are very, very much so prevalent. You're going to see those boards a lot, like the standard Zombie Stein plus whichever dragon they chose off of Agripane and Colossus board after they've ripped a couple cards out of your hand. Yeah, you're going to see that a lot. And Destrudo, especially for a lot of the best players are still playing Hot Red, Destrudo breaks the entire board. You don't really need to worry about killing Colossus right away because thanks to Security Dragon, you have a poor man's unicorn that can play around bypassing the protection of Colossus, and you can still bounce it and out it with just Destrudo MEKK by itself. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. I'm definitely going to do like maybe 1 or 2 test hands just for you guys so that you don't think that I'm like hyping the deck up to be something it's not. Because it is a great deck. It really is. And I just think the only thing that's keeping a lot of the decks that I love from being, I guess you could say, relevant, so to speak, is just the representation. Let's just be realistic. A deck can't top it. Nobody's playing it. And if somebody's playing it, we need like more than 3. You know, we need like a couple hundred people to be playing a deck for it to even have that representation that validates what I'm trying to say, like the claims that I'm making. But the spells are 3 copies of that house and 2 Optimus Prime to search that bad boy out. I was considering 1 Area 0 just for the hands where you have this and this, but it just didn't come up enough for me to put it in. And Area 0 is just not good enough. It didn't make the list. It didn't make the cut because I knew that I wasn't playing enough Sky Striker cards for it to even resolve its effect enough. It was essentially becoming a -1 every single time, and I didn't like that. I still am a believer in the Spellbook engine. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. Secrets and knowledge. Even without Alistair, any hand that can make Alistair the Invoker of Madness can make this live. And I really like this more than this. I was considering just playing 3 of this and just calling it a day because this bypasses Colossus. It plays around it. But also, sometimes you just need to use knowledge to pitch secrets, and you need to keep the monster that you have on field. It just comes up sometimes, so I knew that it's still important to play these each. Also, Instant Fusion brings out Restrict, and that's you can take a monster and then use knowledge on it, which is really good. But +1s are relevant when you know that you play too many 1-ups for Desires. and that the struggle is real, fam, in that department. I can't play Desires in this deck if I try. Too many 1-ups, too much stuff that matters. So the +1s I chose were like Knowledge, and then Engage is so good in this deck. It really is. Engage is a 1-card Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, and some. Engage is insane. It really is. I love this card a lot. I know it's Engage. I know it's Sky Threckers. I know. I get it. Some people are going to be upset. Don't get triggered over stuff that doesn't have anything to do with you, honestly. Don't let stuff have power over your emotions, bro. Like, my cardboard should not make you mad. 3 Engage, 3 Widow Anchors. Widow Anchor is really important in this deck because I put a huge emphasis on using my opponent's monsters as a resource so I can make this bad boy because he's just so good, man. I was even going to do Orcus MEKK Knight Invoke Sky Strikers, but I was like, nah, fam, no. You're doing too much 3-stack. It's possible you could do it, but stop. Slow your horses and just go back to how we were playing it originally back in the day. So 3 Widow Anchors, 2 Mind Controls. We're still playing Hornet Drones and Jamming and Afterburner because these are incredible. This card is really good, just, you know, adding back the resources you need because these are not once per turn for some odd reason. Thanks, Konami. But yeah, Mind Control and Widow Anchor are really important because I knew that probably the most dominant weakness that I would see the most. There's a lot of weaknesses that Invoke have, including Lancia, which is dominant, and you see it a lot, but I knew that I struggled more against Colossus, and I knew I would see Colossus more than I saw like other cards like Lancia, etc., because it's just a more dominant deck. Like Colossus is part of the Thunder Dragon archetype, and that deck, Danger Thunder, is just one of the best. So I just needed ways to out Colossus before I even commit, because if I can't know my Alistair and search, there's not very much that I can do. I have to rely on Destrudo, MEKK, really to go for game because that gives me Sword. But yeah, like I just really wanted to. I didn't want to lose to Colossus, and I also don't mind baiting roars, trying to take my opponent's Sunlight Wolf, and sometimes you just have to like chain Widow Anchor to the first Widow Anchor when they're trying to negate it. It matters. So 3 Widow Anchors is really important, and having more targets for engage never hurt. 2 Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion falls under the same premise of Mind Control and also Widow Anchor, taking my opponent's monsters and using them as a resource. You feel me? You feel me? You guys catch my drift. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, baby. And then 2 Invocations to sum up the main deck. Really, Invocation is the biggest brick in my deck. I really am a believer in playing 3 in any other Invoked variant, but since you're able to turbo him out so quickly, you just don't really have that much of an issue with it. And especially when you have Instant Fusion, that's why I really want to bump this to 3, because hands where you have Instant Fusion that you can make this, you can trigger him to search Invocation, and you don't ever have to have an Alistair. You can still make Purgatrio for game without even having like a Terraforming or a Meltdown or an Alistair drawn for turn. So yeah, Invocation, it's really searchable, really accessible, perfect at 2. Just for this list in particular, like in pure Invoked, I believe that if it's just Invoked without all these splashable engines, you play 3 Invocation. You have to, bro. Honestly, Book of Law did not make the cut, not because Book of Law is bad, but just because I didn't want to play more bricks. Just for the scenario where you're like, oh, it would be good to have a Book of Law right now. Like, I couldn't afford it, man. I want this deck to be as consistent as I possibly can make it with the resources provided to me, and I really did not want the deck to lose to itself. That's a problem Invoked already had, where you lose to yourself because you just draw too many Invocations, or you draw Alistair and it's like the only monster in your hand. I don't like that stuff. So extra deck is 1 Invoker of Madness. I wish I had 2. I would probably play 2. Security Dragon. Love this card, bro. Woo! Baby. Security Dragon's amazing. Phoenix, Akashic. Okay, so, like, we love Akashic and Security Dragon, okay? Bottom line, like, we're making Akashic, and then we're taking another monster in Akashic. We're making a Security Dragon, and then we're putting Nightmare like Phoenix or even the Cerberus under that, and you're just going to discard and draw, and this co-link so you can just bounce. Yeah, the Link 2s just really help you out a lot. Now for Link 1s, I actually decided to cut Cerberus for Trishbania. I was playing Cerberus, but I cut it for Trishbania because Trishbania is just way more clutch and it comes up a lot more. Niche interactions where Cerberus is needed and mandatory. You do have Widows, Mind Controls, and Instant Fusions to clear monsters, and you also have Pankratops, which helps clear monsters, but you need more cards to clear back rows. Link Karibo Kagari for the Link 1s, and Trishbania for the only Link 3, and Sword for the only Link 4. Extra deck's really tight, baby. I mean, like, virgin tight. Now, 3 Mekka. I'm a believer in 3. I'm a believer. I love 3 Mekka because whenever you can't OTK, this is the card that's going to keep you in the game. Like, just having Mekka up here, because what you can do is you can actually use Alistair the Invoker of Madness. Like, when he's up here, you can use him as a fusion material. Banish him and a light, make Mekka up here, so there's nothing in your main zone, so you can kind of just play Sky Striker, Invoke Control using Mekka and Widow Anchors to kind of hold your opponent at bay until you get another turn so that you can try it all over again. So not only does it come up a lot at 3, but also I'm a believer in True King of all Chlamydia. It's just an incredible card. Whenever you make this and you summon a Mekka, you can always make a second one because he searches another invocation. So these are what? 2 level 9s. Your opponent can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! If you couldn't kill them. It just gives you a follow-up. It gives you another turn. It allows you to just bide your time and your resources. Purgatrio for game, baby. And then 1,000 Eyes Restrict. And finally, Yazi. So as you can clearly see, the extra deck's super tight. There's still a lot of cards like Borload that I considered. But I also felt that Borload, I would choose Sword over Borload every time. And a vast majority of the threats that Borload gets rid of can still be destroyed by battle. With Colossus, that's the counter argument where Borload's needed to take Colossus. We have Widows, Mind Controls, and Instant Fusion. So I felt like I was good on that end in that department. And yeah, that's actually the entirety of the deck profile. Really hope that you guys enjoyed this one. But we're going to do a test hand real quick. So for, ooh, my battery. For those of you who do not want to watch this, you don't have to stick around. But anyone who is... We're 14 minutes in. Anyone who is interested in this test hand, stay in your seats because we're about to do this. Since it's a going second deck, and I choose to go in second, side decking for going first is very easy. There's a lot of cards that anyone can think of off the top of their head that they put in here, that I would put in here. But since we're going second, the test hands are obviously going to have 6 cards in hand, and you're just going to play under the premise that your opponent has a board assembled. So what I do in these scenarios is I just pretend that I'm playing like Salamangreats or Salamangreats or Sky Strikers or Thunder. My worst matchup is Thunder, so I'm going to pretend like I'm in a scenario where I have to play through Zombie Stein and Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend, Abyss, and also Colossus. So what I'm going to do, that's what's going to make this test hand more interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take random cards out of my hand twice, so that way I'm playing with 4 cards to see if I can really do it. If you guys don't want to see that, I understand. I have regular test hands with this deck that you guys can watch, but I want to do that because that's my worst matchup. Sky Strikers and Salamangreats is very much so I have a fair chance because I'm actually allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh! But with the Danger Thunder Dragon deck, it just really doesn't let me. So I'm going to do that, and I hope that that's something that interests you guys because that's what I really like to do. I just power shuffle. I really like to do that in my test hands or whenever I'm like playtesting by myself. I put myself in the worst scenario to see if my deck can actually do what I need it to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Before I even look at my cards, so I don't make any biased decisions, I'm going to roll a dice. 5. We're going to take that. That's an Indigo Eclipse. That's a good card. And then we're going to roll a dice again. And we're going this way, obviously. 1. What do we take? Oh, a Blue Sky. Well, since they have a Colossus up, it's not going to be that useful. So can we do this with 4 cards? Because they do rip 2 very typically. We have Invocation, Alistair, Invocation, and Destrudo. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Since we can't search and we normal Alistair, oh, my God. Wait, Destrudo's there. Destrudo's there, bro. Destrudo's there. And a lot of the players, and I mean a vast majority of them, are playing basically Zombie Stein and Abyss. So, normal Alistair. Destrudo, thank you for saving my life so I don't embarrass myself on YouTube. Yazi is going to go ahead and target the, I'd say the Abyss. The Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend, Abyss. Yazi effect, they don't play hand traps. They're not going to ash it. They really don't. I've seen too many lists without hand traps for me to even put that scenario in. We've already put ourselves in the worst case scenario. We're making Mirror. Generate a token. Generate another token. Make Security Dragon. Let's go ahead and generate our final token. And let's go ahead and take that token and Mirror. And let's go ahead and take that. Actually, what we need to do, before we make Security Dragon, let's see. Because there's a Colossus there. We're pretending that that's the scenario that we're in. So what we need to do is we need to make a Koshik somehow. And if they have, oh, that's the problem too, is that if they have a Skull Dread up, which they normally do, you can't really Akashic because it wouldn't be pointing to the Colossus. So I think what we need to do here is we need to make Security Dragon. We need to go ahead and take these two and just co-link Security Dragon, and then use Security Dragon to bounce the Colossus. So that way we can search, because Alistair the Invoker of Madness can actually search for us. And let's see if we can really do it. So now that Colossus is gone, we just have to get rid of the Zombie Stein and the Abyss. I'm sorry, just the Zombie Stein, because we killed Abyss with Yazi. So we've already cleared 2 of the threats. And remember, they rip... Baby! Woo! I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Let's do this. We got this. We got this. All right. We got this. Let's see. First and foremost, let's activate Invocation. Let's banish Alistair. And what would be in their grave that's appropriate? They have to have a light. Like, they have to have a light. There's no way they don't have a light. If they don't have a light, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, they have to have a light, right? They're playing Danger Thunder. But if they don't have a light, then we can just link with this and this, which I don't want to do, and we can make a play off that. But we're going to go under the assumption that they have a light. I'm going to give myself that much. I mean, come on. We've ripped 2 cards out of our hand. So we'll banish this. And we'll go ahead and bring out MEKK. And if they don't have the attribute, we can just make Purgatrio, which Purgatrio is still really nice. But we're going to make Purgatrio last. Then we're going to shuffle this back, add Alistair to our hand. And since all that's left on their field is going to be the Zombie Stein, which if they put Zombie Stein to defense and use it to negate, for example, the Invocation, we can still play. So let's say they negate Invocation, because that's like the only card they can really interact. Unless they negated with, so let's say they negated this with Security Dragon. So Colossus is still there. Colossus is still there because Zombie Stein negated this because obviously they want to protect Colossus because they can tell if I'm going after Colossus, then I need to search. So they negated this. Colossus is still there. Zombie Stein is in defense. So now we make MEKK. And what we have to do now is like we have to, yeah, we like really have to find out how we're going to. This is tough. This is tough. Borosaur's there though. He's there. So I would definitely say if worst case scenario, if we couldn't break the board, we could bide our time with Calamities and lock them out for a turn. But the thing is, Colossus is still going to be there. It's still going to be a threat. So we'd have to find a way to make Calamities while still keeping Security Dragon so that way we can use... Nah, he's one to where he's face up. So next up, we're going to make Borosaur. But if for some reason they didn't negate Security Dragon, then all that would be there is basically Zombie Stein. So we just make this. We'd go Invocation, bam, bam, Purgatrio, baby. And Colossus, Purgatrio and Borosaur is insane. It's insane. So we were able to do that with just those 4 cards. I think that in itself, thank you, Destrodo Mariner. Hello, somebody. That in itself would be an accomplishment for an Invoked MEKK Knight Sky Striker Kaiju player. But let's go ahead and do one more because that one was so specific and we had to create scenarios that don't exist. Let's put ourselves in one where we're playing against Sky Strikers now. So we're playing Sky Strikers. Or wait, whose back row sometimes is more annoying? Because Widow Anchors aren't always that bad and they don't always have like 3 Widow Anchors. Sometimes it's like Shark, Eagle Booster, and Widow. So I'd say Salamangreats, right? Because they have like the roars and the rages and all that. Like, so let's say we're playing against Salamangreats. So we're playing Salamangreats because their back rows hurt more than Sky Strikers' back rows do. I'm not knocking Sky Strikers. They're still a good deck. Let's do that. So we got Destrodo. Okay, he loves me. Alistair, Terraforming, Destrodo. Knowledge. Okay, all right. We're in there. So I would definitely say if we are playing against them, right? We're playing against them. I would say let's go ahead and Terraforming. And let's go for the Meltdown. Now, with Meltdown up, their fear in their mind is if I don't negate Meltdown, I might not be able to negate the Invocation that he could possibly have in his hand. That's the thing with Invoke. There's so much you have to think about. So we can have a strong assumption that they would negate that. Because when you play that first, it kind of puts that illusion that this is the only way you have to get to Alistair. Then we could normal Alistair. At that point, if they like Ash Blossomed him for some reason, or let's say they, I don't know, like they Effect Veilered him, the knowledge is going to have to get us there. And when I say get us there, it's going to have to get us something for Destrodo to be a valid target. But I'd say, you know, let's say they like roared this and then they Impermanence or Ash Blossom this, then we go for the Destrodo play. Because I'm very confident that knowledge will still be live because we can still make Alistair. So we'd go for Yazi. We'd activate his effect. I'd say target one of their back rows because their Link monster can be bounced by Security Dragon. So we'd go for their final back row that they had under the premise that they had it, pop it, and then Yazi. And if they have Ash Blossom here, you actually just lose. You lose. It's over. It's canceled. It's done immediately. But if they don't have the Ash on that, like if they did use Ash on Alistair for whatever reason, you can bring out Mare. Start making some tokens. So I'd say do it like this. You know, 2 tokens make that. And then the token in the Mare make him or her. Phoenix is going to discard that for cost. You're going to get yourself a draw. So the card that we draw really does make a difference right now because it's kind of just, we're pretending like everything we do gets stopped. All right, there we go. Mind Control. Mind Control is going to help. Activate that. If we baited out the Roar, give me your Sunlight Wolf. Please, sir. Give that to me. And now that I've taken your Sunlight Wolf, I am going to use this Security Dragon and your Sunlight Wolf. No, I can't because they're both Cypers. So I'm going to use the Phoenix. Oh, dang, that sucks. So you know what? Sunlight Wolf can stay there. I'm going to take these 2. And I'm going to make the Invoker of Madness. So the Invoker of Madness is there. He's here. He's out there. He's everywhere. Now we're going to knowledge him. And this is it. This is the Please, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Let me draw the right card. We're going to send that off. Draw 1, draw 2. So if they negated the activation of Meltdown, we're good to go because you can only activate one. But if they negate the activation, you can activate another. If it said you can only use the effect once, you know, you're good to go. So we'll activate that. We'll grab our Mr. Crowley. This is where my second Alistair the Invoker of Madness really matters. I only have one, but I would say, like, if I had the second one, I could do a lot more. Because at that point, I could Instant Fusion, get out Restrict, and clear another threat. And then I can take this Restrict and that Sunlight Wolf that I have. And, you know, I could make the Alistair. But at the same time, I still don't have Invocation. So, like, that was it was good for clearing the board. It really was. But at the same time, because your follow-up wasn't strong enough, I would arguably say that you lost that duel inherently due to you not being able to keep up with what's going to happen next, because Salamangreats are Salamangreats, man. But yeah, that's it for the video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching it. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. Stay positive and have a beautiful day, all right? Peace. And I didn't draw any engages.